morning, everybody. Today we're making Sylvia's macaroni and cheese, and we need 12 ounces of macaroni. I've got our water over here on high with salt already in it, coming to a boil. And we're going to measure this because our box is 16 ounces of 1 pound, and we only need 12 ounces. So I have our scale sitting right here, and we're going to make sure it's at 0. Here's a bowl. Let's make sure it's on ounces, and we need 12 ounces. Alright, so a little bit extra. Now, the difference between our macaroni and cheese that we made when we read the book Brown Girl Dreaming and this one is that in the other recipe we made a bechamel. If you recall, the bechamel is the equal parts flour and sugar, and cooking it together, making a roux, and then adding in our milk and whisking it in together and cooking it, and then adding in our cheese. Now this is, we have eggs, butter, milk, cheese, and what we do is we just toss it all together with the macaroni and put it in the oven and bake it. So this might be an even simpler macaroni and cheese recipe. So this is a good chance to test this out and see what the end result, if we like it. Now, of course, she's got sugar in it too, so I've got the sugar out. She likes to put sugar in things. And another thing is that she's got this yellow food coloring, optional. Now, we're not going to add that. That's, a recipe that dates back probably to when she originally made it in the 60s. They used things like yellow food coloring in what they were making to make things pop out, just like they used Jell-O molds for fancy desserts and stuff like that. So today we're just going to omit that. I don't want to put that in. I don't want anything chemical in our food. We don't need it. All right, so we're going to wait for this to come to a rapid boil, and then we're going to add in our macaroni. Okay, so here is our macaroni, and our water is rapidly boiling. We're going to sprinkle that in. I'm going to cook it for 8 minutes and then strain it. So I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes. So here we have the macaroni, and it's been drained. And of course, suddenly, I forgot, the oven doesn't work. So I'm going to have to bring this home to bake it. All right, so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the ingredients in together now, and then I'll transfer it into a container, take it home, and bake it tonight. So, for instance, I want the butter to melt over the pasta right now, so I'm going to mix that in, and then I'll add in the remaining ingredients when the pasta has cooled down a bit. I don't want it to start cooking the eggs, so we'll do it tonight. So, I'm going to get this stirred in, and then when it has cooled off, I'll add the milk and the eggs and the cheese, our salt, sugar, black pepper, and then I'll transfer into a container that I can take home, and then I'll cook it tonight at home. All right, so our butter is completely melted all over the pasta, so that's taken care of. And here we have our sugar, salt, and pepper. We're going to add to it our milk, 1.5 cups of milk, our 2 eggs, and then our cheddar cheese. And I'm going to toss it over the pasta, and then, of course, I got to figure out how to take it home. I think I'm probably just going to take it home in that container and then pour it into a baking dish at home and cook it. So now one thing I also noted that there's not a lot of cheese, actually. There's only about 8 ounces of cheddar cheese, and it's mixed into it. There's really no cheese put on top. So this should be interesting to see how cheesy the end result is. So that I'll be interested to find out as well. So we're just going to add in our milk and our eggs. I'm just going to use our whisk to break it up and whisk it all together. Add our 8 ounces of cheese, and this is just sharp cheddar. Now I do sometimes like creating different flavor profiles of our mac and cheese by using different types of cheese, but this is Sylvia's recipe, so we'll stick to it as faithfully as we possibly can. and then do our taste test and check it out. So I'm just gonna pour this in on top of all the pasta. I'll stir it together, and then I gotta take it home. All right, everybody, here we are. We've got the oven at 350, and I've got the macaroni in the baking dish. Hi, everybody. So here we are. We have the oven on at 350. I got the macaroni and cheese home, and I'm going to put it in the oven in this nice baking dish, which I sprayed with some Pam before I put it in. All right, and so this is going to probably take 30 minutes to bake. All right, the timer just went off. Here is our macaroni and cheese. Woo, doesn't that look gorgeous? All right, take that out. That was in for 30 minutes, and it's looking fabulous. So I'm gonna put it in a bowl and give it a taste and tell you what you think. All right, so I had a bite, and I was thinking, yay, a recipe that'll be much easier than my bechamel macaroni and cheese. But you know what? The end result is that I actually really prefer my bechamel macaroni and cheese more so than this. To me, this just doesn't have enough cheese and enough creaminess. So it's obviously very good. It's still macaroni and cheese, but I really do prefer the other recipe that we made. So that's certainly worth trying to make because it is easier. The steps are less complicated, throwing all the ingredients together and just baking them. So this is a time saver. So if you want to make mac and cheese on the quick side, I would do this recipe. If you want to make a mac and cheese that's for a family get together, then I would do the other recipe. But definitely Sylvia's thumbs up mac and cheese.